Hi all, it's Mark here again, Arts and Culture Network. It's time for another one of our Arts and Culture Hot Top 10s, which is proving extremely popular. And I'm delighted to be joined by one of our full members, Patrick Duncan, who is a poet and a music and entertainment entrepreneur, I think would be a nice phrase to describe you. Patrick, thanks for joining me to do this.
Thanks, Mark. It's nice to be here.
You have no idea what I'm going to ask. That's the fun of this. And it's just a fun romp through 10 different art forms so that I can find out if Patrick has a favorite in them. They're always surprising somewhere. It's hilarious. I did not expect the head of Chinese art at Sotheby's to cite hip hop as her favorite genre. So but who knows? So here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Now, do you have a favorite building?
I have a favorite building. No, I don't. I can't think of a favorite building. I've never been to the Empire State Building or anything, so I can't think of a favorite building. That's a good question. I live in Atlanta, the Atlanta area. There's a lot of great buildings.
That's I'm sure there'll be some to choose from in Atlanta. I can in my mind's eye, I've got the Atlanta skyline in my head from the Olympics. So I imagine there'll be some stunning architecture in some of the buildings that you would see on the Atlanta skyline. What's the tallest? Is there what's the tallest building in Atlanta?
I don't know what to tell the building. I don't know.
There must be. I think there'll be a few. I think we'll let our visit. Yeah, we'll let our viewers.
Bank of America, the Bank of America building is pretty tall in downtown Atlanta.
Okay, that'll do for now. That's great. It dominates the skyline. Yeah. So, and I was fascinated earlier to hear about that you put on events in a local bookstore, which I assume is an independent bookstore rather than a Borders or a chain. Yeah, which is great. So the next question is, and I know that you shop there a lot. So, do you have a favorite book?
I couldn't just pick one. I would say there may be 2 or 3 that's on the top of my mind. I really enjoy a book by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough titled "What Makes the Great Great."
Nice.
And it actually inspired me to write a poem of the same title, "What Makes the Great Great." So that was probably my favorite because, as I said, it inspired a great piece of poetry.
Yeah, that's fantastic. A book that can inspire more art is fantastic. Great, I love that. Who was the author again?
Dr. Dennis Kimbrough.
Dennis Kimbrough. Okay, we'll put links in where we can on this. After we've done this. That's great. Now this one's fun. Excuse me. I'd like you to assume you've been exiled from the United States, never to return. Okay.
Okay.
You can choose. The deal is you can't go back to the US, but you can choose to live anywhere else. So if you could choose another country to be your home for reasons of culture, where would you choose to live?
I go to Ghana.
Sorry?
Ghana.
Ghana, okay.
Ghana, Africa.
Yeah, is that East or West? I can't remember.
Where?
West Africa.
Where?
Okay. Why would you choose Ghana?
Well, over the last few years, Ghana has done a great job of trying to connect all Africans across the diaspora. They actually had, I don't know if it's still going on now, but they had the Year of the Return where they were inviting African Americans from outside of Africa and other areas of the diaspora to come to Ghana and they were offering, I think it was 1-2 acres of land at a cost just to get other African Americans to Ghana. They're trying to bridge that gap between the Africans in Ghana and Africans who are not, trying to bridge that gap, that gap with all Africans, and making all of us realize that we're a family, that we are one, and not have all the dissension that has been created.
That's great. What a fantastic initiative. Can you imagine if Ireland did the same? There are more people, there are more Irish people in New York than there are in the whole of Ireland.
Wow. I didn't know.
Yeah, I think it's about 6 million in, well, perhaps it's not just New York, but there are, I mean, they would never, anyone with Irish descent would never fit, they'd never fit on the, back on the island. But I think that's fantastic though, that kind of initiative is great. It's really
I
good.
thought that was really good.
Love that. So you've been exiled from the US, but you're going to go to Ghana and pick up a couple of acres of land. I love that.
Yes.
Great. Yeah, why not? Okay, that's great. Now, do you as a participant or a spectator, do you have a favorite sport?
Football is probably favorite. I love basketball. I love baseball. I love women's basketball, WNBA. I love the women softball. I'm watching the women's softball World Series now. But football is probably the favorite sport.
Now, by football, you mean gridiron, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, not soccer.
Yeah, not soccer. Yeah.
Brilliant. There's a wonderful TV show on Apple TV. I don't know if you've heard about it, called Ted Lasso.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
It finished last night, and I was in floods of tears. It was the most amazing production. It's fantastic. It's the story of a football coach from the States who's hired by a leading soccer team in the UK. Who, but the intention is that he should basically balls it up. It's absolutely worth a look. Cool. Okay, nearly there. Now, the other difficult question is, I'm only going to allow you to listen to one musical genre for the rest of your life.
R&B.
R&B.
Yes.
Favorite artists?
Oh, I love Sam Cooke. Love Marvin Gaye. I love Whitney Houston. I love Sade. I love the Isley Brothers. I love Al Green. I love Barry White. I love Luther Vandross. I love Teddy Pendergrass. So I love R&B music. I was just drawn to it at a very, very early age. And at a very early age, I was very conscious of the lyrics. I wanted to hear what you were saying. I can remember as a kid, I kept a tablet, and back then we had little cassette tapes. And I would record it on the song on my cassette tape, and later I would play the cassette tape repeatedly, writing down every single lyric to the song.
Brilliant.
And so I had to know what you were saying to see if it made sense, or to and to kind of critique it to the point where maybe it would have been better if you said this or said that. And I think that's where the poetry started to evolve. I think the poetry was born from that.
That's fantastic. One of my favorites is Otis Redding, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay.
Yeah, Dock of the Bay. Yeah, I love Otis. Yeah, Otis Redding's really good.
There's a line in the middle eight that I've referred to many times. There've been periods in my life where I felt I was being pulled from pillar to post, needing to earn money, family, friends, parents, children, everybody wants a piece of you at some point in your life. And there's a lovely line in the middle eight of that, which is, I can't do what 10 people tell me to do. You probably know the line.
Yeah.
It's where he gets a little angry in the song. And it's a great line. But yeah, love that. R&B. Well, you've just created the most incredible Spotify playlist just by mentioning those names. That's fantastic. Now, do you have a favorite play or musical?
No, I haven't been to I think Never been to a musical. I think I've only been to one play in my entire life. I can't remember the name of the play. I enjoyed it. It was something new, something different for me, but I can't remember the play. So I haven't ventured into those areas a lot.
So you're a little bit of a stranger to the theatre unless you're performing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's great. Do you have a favorite film?
Probably my favorite film of all time is, what was the name of I just had it in Imitation of Life.
Oh, Imitation of Life, right.
Imitation of Life, yes.
Yeah, nice. I'm going to put that on my list of things to watch again, because this is so much fun for me, because I get to do this with our members and I get tips on what to read, what to listen to, what to go and see. It's great. No, I don't know it, so I'm going to go and watch it. Are there any notable stars in it, celebrities in it, actors?
Well, the original was done in the 50s.
Right.
It was done in the 50s. I was actually introduced to it by my grandmother, because I went into her room one day and she was watching it, and she was, "Grandson, come in here and watch this movie with me." And it was black and white, so I'm like, "I don't want to see a black and white movie." You're like, "Trust me, you'll love it." And she was right. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. You said the Ted Lasso episode brought tears to your eyes. This movie will bring tears to your eyes too.
Okay, right. That's definitely on my list, on my playlist. I work late at night sometimes. I've become a bit nocturnal professionally, and I nearly always put a great movie on while I'm doing it. Brilliant. That's great. And the final one for the moment is, apart from me, who was the last person to make you laugh?
My granddaughter, my 5-year-old granddaughter, Maya.
Beautiful. That's great. Patrick, thank you so much for doing this. It's been great fun. Everybody who watches this now will know how you tick. They'll know where they'll know, they'll feel as they'll feel as though they know you a bit better, which is fantastic. So thanks once again. Thank you also for being such a valued full member of our gang. I'm really looking forward to immersing myself in your poetry. I hope everybody else does. And good luck with the shows as well. But in the meantime, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. It was fun.